Okay, so next part, we are talking about another documentary that this lodger was part of. This one was for ITV. It was 2019, and she's asked if she spoke to anybody about the things that she'd witnessed at the time. She said no. She says that she was 17, she'd left home at 16, and who was going to believe a 17-year-old? The documentary maker then goes on to say that it's obvious that she had a lucky escape because her fellow lodger and friend, Shirley Robinson, had been killed along with her baby. Now, why is this an issue? Well, the dates, for a start. In the trial and then in some of the subsequent interviews, whether with papers or the documentaries, she says that she moved in the October of 1976 and she moved out in the April or May of 1977. And nobody questions that. It fits with the age she says she was and other things like the cafe where she met the couple. The issues arise around the descriptions of her knowledge of Shirley. Shirley moved into 25 Cromwell Street in between the April and the June of 1977. And this means that the lodger who gave evidence had moved out already. The other issue is that when she talks about Shirley being heavily pregnant, this can't actually be the case because she left in April 77. Shirley was confirmed as 6 weeks pregnant in October 1977. It's a long time after she left. It could be the case that she saw a girl called Shirley before she left, because there is a little bit of a crossover from when Shirley started working in the Green Lantern Cafe and when the lodger was moving out. But she certainly wouldn't have been heavily pregnant. And if she was, it certainly wasn't with Fred's baby, or the baby that she was buried with. When the ex-lodger talks about seeing Rose in the house with the new baby, that's correct. Rose had a baby in the December, and this was the first baby that she had that wasn't Fred's. And yes, she was black. But that so helpfully pinpoints the time that the ex-lodger would have been talking about, because this baby was born when Shirley would have been 3 months pregnant. Rose was pregnant again quite soon after having the baby in the December, and she was due again in the following November. Shirley Robinson's baby was due in the June. Shirley Robinson was murdered in mid-May, going on doctor's records from when she was last seen. So how could this person who gave trial evidence now be going on to say that she was really good friends with somebody who was murdered, one of the victims, when she didn't live there at the same time as her? She wasn't pregnant when she lived there. So was the information in the trial wrong, or is it wrong now? You can see in the 2019 interview with for ITV, she changes her age to 17, but in other interviews she says that it was the first place she lived after she moved out when she was 16. What's more is the knowledge of the other tenants that moved in after she moved out. So Shirley was one of them, but just before Shirley there was Liz Brewer, or Liz Parry back then. She moved into the top floor and she had the front bedroom. Shirley's bedroom was on the first floor. It was the smaller bedroom and it was one near the bathroom. There was also a boyfriend of one of the older West children who lived there from the October in 1977 till approximately the February of 1978. His bedroom was on the first floor opposite Shirley's at the front. When he moved out, a female moved into his bedroom. I actually did speak to this trial witness before I had looked into the dates around what they had said and what they'd said since. I approached them to ask about the book that had been released, because obviously the author of that book has been claiming to live in 25 Cromwell Street when Shirley was a tenant. What was odd was one of the first things that she said to me was, "Oh, I didn't ever lie." But the dates don't line up, so what else could it be? What I find quite worrying about this is that The people who were at the trial, the journalists, everybody knows what was said. It's all documented very well. So when somebody who gave evidence then later changes the story for documentaries and newspapers, why does nobody call it out? I totally understand that not everybody has got the kind of autistic brain that I have, which is where well, if that's that, then how can this be that? You know, I understand that, but I don't even think this is that hard to see. I think it was quite obvious. So, do we have another case of that the lie is better or more profitable than the truth? And how do people feel about that when it's to do with people who are dead? One of the things that I've heard from some of the trial witnesses is that they really wanted to make sure the people who were dead had the justice, that justice was seen to be done. And I do understand that, but could it be that memory was elaborated upon for, in a bid to make sure Rose was prosecuted? And since, what's the motive for changing the story? I can only see that it's financial. For me, integrity is important, and I think the integrity of witnesses in a trial like this is super important. But the more I dig into things, the more I'm finding, and it's really concerning. I am going to be making more videos on different things that I found. I've got the evidence for all of it. I'll never intentionally or knowingly say something that is false or incorrect. And I hope to do good by the people that can't speak for themselves, because they deserve the truth to be said, no matter what that is.